Today in science, we'll be doing Messy Data Lab. If you'll turn in your textbooks to page 580. On page 580, we'll read through the scenario and the procedures on how to do your lab. So you will have a set of data that you'll need to organize. What I want to show you on the video is how to set up your graph. Your graph is divided by an x-axis and a y-axis. Your x-axis runs across the bottom. Your y-axis runs up the side. If you look on your procedures on step 2 of setting up the graph, it states to use a black pen and a ruler to draw the x and y axis. So we're going to go ahead and draw in our x and our y axis. Our x runs right across here. And then your y axis goes up the side. Next, leave room to label each axis, but also use as much of the graph paper as possible to spread the data points apart. On the y-axis, create a scale from 9 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius. So our first box, we'll label this 9 degrees Celsius. Then we'll have 9.0, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 7, 8, 9, and then this will be 10.0 degrees Celsius. And then you'll have 10.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then this would be 11.0 degrees Celsius. 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which would make this one 12.0 degrees Celsius. Our y-axis, it states, is supposed to be labeled 5-year average temperature. So this is 5-year average temperature. And we're measuring this in degrees Celsius. Should have capitalized average. 5-year average temperature. So our y-axis is done. On our x-axis, it states that you're going to make a scale from 1914 to 2009. Label all the years shown on your temperature chart. Make sure that years are equally spaced. And your x-axis is labeled year. Okay, year first, if you look at your table, is 1914. Next year is 1919. Skip one. Skip one. 1924. 1929. You'll go all the way through your years. 1934. 1939. 1944. 1949, 1954, 1959. So you'll run your years all the way across the x-axis, all the way up until 2009. And then you're supposed to title your graph, and we can title this at the top, Annual Temperature for Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Okay, so there's your title. Then step 3, scatter plot. Use the temperature chart on the next page to make your graph. Plot all the data points in blue. So your first plot is 1914. The average temperature was 10.3. So in 1914, it was 10.3. So this is 10.1, 2, 3. So there's your first plot. You'll go through all of the data on your chart. Then on step 4, on your graph, divide the data points into 3 approximately equal groups by drawing a vertical line between 1944 and 1949. So here is 1944. I'm going to go back to my black pen. In 1949, and I'm going to draw a vertical line between those dates. And then it says to draw a second vertical line between 1974 and 1979. Let me write a few more dates. So mine made it up to 1959. Then we had 1964, 1969, 1974, and your second vertical line is between 74 and 79. So in all of your scatter plots, your blue dots are on here. This will divide your chart into the past, so the early years, then the recent years, and then the in-between years. So the early, recent, and in-between. This is how you first set up your graph.